The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
When I first joined the Kollel, where I lived out of town in Detroit, first joined the Kollel. Remember, out-of-town Kollel is a very big risk. So in most cases, what you see often happens is you have a chevra who know each other from before, or there's a whole, Beis Medrash Gevaya Lakewood Yeshiva has a whole office where they work to supply younger light for out-of-town Kollelim, and they work very, very hard to create a homogenous type of a group that the Olam, even if they don't know each other previously, but they're well matched and they meet each other before and their wives meet each other and they really spend a lot of time together. And that way they make sure, because, you go out of town, these fellow younger light and their wives, they become your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. You develop beautiful, beautiful friendships and beautiful relationships with them. But if there's a problem, then it's very, very hard to fix that problem. And I remember when I was looking to go out of town, and I considered a number of Kollelim, all of them had you come down beforehand, most with your wife. They'd have you come down, and you'd have to meet a bunch of different people and make sure, everybody's okay with this, because, kamat like a shidduch, you're signing up for a lot. Well, I didn't have the opportunity to do so in Detroit. And Baruch Hashem, it was an amazing, I've talked about it so many times, amazing 13 years that I had there. I wasn't in the Kollel all of those years, but for 8 of them I was. It was amazing years. But I remember when I got there, that's pretty much when I discovered who my fellow younger light were going to be. And it was an odd mix, because it was a Kollel that had been in existence already for a long time. I came in the 90s and it opened up in the early 70s. So it was a Kollel that was around for a long time, and there were quite a few younger light who were much, much older, who were holdovers from earlier regimes. And then there were a few newer ones. It was an odd mix of wonderful chashuva people, but weren't a homogeneous group by any stretch of the imagination. So the challenges were there. And I remember it was not long after I got there. I moved from Eretz Yisrael to be able to go there. So there were no do-overs. This is where it is Shamtei Kurase. This is where you're going to be. There is no second act here. This better work. I come. And after a little while, I made friends right away with everybody who was there. But there was one fellow in particular who, through no fault of his own, just personality clash, really truly got me nervous. And I mean nervous. Scratching a nail on a chalkboard, that kind of nervous, just drove me up a wall. And again, nothing wrong. Very nice fellow. We were friends, but it just wasn't a match. I remember thinking to myself one day, this is crazy. It's not like there's 10 of us here. There's just a few. And we all got to get along. So I got to figure out how to get along with this guy, but I can't. I can't be civil. I don't know how I'm going to do this. How am I going to make this happen? I was down about it. I was very down because I saw no pathway. I saw no future. I saw no way out of this problem. I can't change him. Change me? I don't know what to change about me. It's not even that there's anybody doing anything wrong here. He hasn't done anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. He was a good guy. His personality was not my style, And like the type that if we would have dated, it would have been over 20 minutes in. I don't like the way you laugh. I'm done. I'm out. Goodbye, Now I know what to do. Yerushalayim has his ways. In the Kollel in those years, we had a tape library. Now, tape. What's a tape? So tape was a cassette tape. Okay, remember, this is mid-90s. Tape is a cassette tape. And it was not a very well-stocked library. Very few things, a couple of tapes from Rabbi Miller and a few others, and that was the Ganze tape library. Well, I was so down. It was the end of second Seder. I said, I can't keep on doing this. I don't know what I'm going to do. How am I going to manage? How am I going to stay here? My mind is racing. But with some of the other Kollelim that I had considered, maybe we didn't move in yet. We didn't buy a house. I had all these thoughts, and knowing full well that's not the way it's going to work, but I just don't have an answer. I was desperate. On my way out, I go through the room that has a tape library. I reach on the wall, pull out a tape, sign it out, and take it. Rabbi Miller doesn't. I don't know what it was about. Whatever it was tape number, 763 or whatever the number is. A lot of those tapes weren't listed, weren't labeled what they were. Pop it in my car, the tape deck, and I had about a 5-minute drive to my apartment. And I pop it in, and I hear Rabbi Miller saying, sometimes you're in a situation where you feel very challenged. a person in your immediate environment. He makes you very nervous, and he makes your blood boil. And he goes on describing how you're in a place, you're stuck with a person who gets on your nerves. And he says, you think it's a problem. It's not a problem. It's there by design. The Rabbi Shalom put that person there in order to teach you a lesson. You need to become patient. You need to be tolerant. Whatever he goes through. And I'm thinking to myself, I knew Rabbi Victor Miller. He had taught for us, taught for my father for many, many years. It was a name. I had listened to many of his shiurim, and it was like he was talking to me. Like the Rabbi Shalom made me reach up, pull out a tape, pull out that specific tape, pop it in. In the 4 to 5 minutes I had, by the time I walked into my house, I was like, I'm good. I'm okay. It's fine. Why? Because he helped me realize that I am in this situation because it's an opportunity for me to grow. This is not about this fellow. This fellow is a wonderful guy. It's not about him. It's an opportunity for me to grow, for me to become a bigger and a better person. Looks like a trap is not a trap. It's an opportunity to become bigger and better. And I remember saying to myself, you can be happy. And you can even be happy with this person. And that was my thought process after that in all of my dealings with this individual. And we ended up becoming friendly. And we never became best friends, but we became friendly. And it worked nicely. We never learned B'chavrusa together because that wasn't the thing. But we certainly, I had a great appreciation for him in all those years that I knew him. And he certainly didn't pose any kind of a problem to me. And he certainly didn't make me want to run away because it changed my attitude, because I understood that what I had imagined, I need somebody who is going to be, part of this family, this organic family that's going to come together. That's nice. And some Kailim have it and some don't. And you know what? You'll have other opportunities. And it won't be that. You'll have other benefits. You'll have other milas, and I did. And it's so important, that reframing, that understanding within yourself that sometimes you're in a situation, in your mind, it needs to be a different situation. But the Rebbeinu Shalom was the one who knows, and the Rebbeinu Shalom was the one who says, no, I have you in this situation. You didn't put you there.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org